Good morning. We're going to start here on EU as always, right? We're on the daily chart. We have EU on the top, DXY on the bottom. So what's this daily chart showing us? Yesterday we had another bearish day, right? We seem to be heading towards these lows. So I've pointed out this liquidity at the bottom here, this sell side liquidity low. We don't seem to be reversing really from any of these lows before then. So in my opinion, that would probably be the ultimate goal here, right, at the bottom of this previous low. If I zoom out just slightly, just below that low is also an imbalance which wasn't completely filled with an order block just right at the bottom there. So if I just zoom in again, you'll probably notice we still do have SMC divergence. I don't think that's coming into play yet, but it's showing its early signs. So perhaps once we meet this sell side liquidity goal or this order block here, if that divergence still exists, we may see some reversal, even if it's short term, maybe to pull up to a premium, say up here or something like that. So if we look, of course, say this high here to this lower high, whereas we have this low here to a lower low. So they are diverged. DXY hasn't taken out this high and made a higher high just yet, where EU has made that lower low. If we look over in DXY, we've filled this imbalance yesterday. That obviously hasn't reversed price much, right? We filled the imbalance and had a small retrace before closing, but today again, we're bullish. So if I zoom in further, you can see we've taken previous daily high and previous daily low sell side liquidity. So that may produce some sort of short-term pullback for this morning. So we may see some sort of bullish behavior from this sell side liquidity. As you can see, price has pulled above the previous daily low, and we're just about sort of pulling below to the previous daily high. So yeah, possibly some sort of short-term bullish behavior here using that liquidity. But I do believe, given the momentum and the way price is going, as I said, we may just go and hit this target without any significant pullback. So let's go down to the 4 hour. Let's see what that looks like. So the first thing I want to bring attention to in the 4 hour is not only have we taken this previous daily low sell side liquidity, but there are previous 4 hour lows, lower time frame lows here, this low that we've also currently swept. So the candle is currently a sweeping candle on the 4 hour. Right, we still have nearly 2 hours to go, so it may just close out beyond these lows here. But at the moment, it's taking the sell side liquidity, as we've noted, and has pulled back somewhat. So we'll see where that goes. We've left behind imbalances up here into more of a premium where this order block is here and the previous daily high. So we could be drawn towards there. Either way, we're obviously very much within a discount. There may be some bullish motives using these sell side and buy side liquidity here. However, we do have strong draws on prices below with sell side liquidity here and a POI here. So we may not get that break above, but we'd be waiting for that on a lower time frame anyway. So I think the 4 hour is obviously clearly bearish momentum going our way, right? But we've taken sell side liquidity, we're in a discount. So I'd have my awareness there for possible pullbacks to go long from, similar to yesterday. So let's move on to the 1 hour, see what that looks like. Right, so here in the 1 hour, clearly we have our bearish legs, right? So let's say from up here down to here, where we've made this new low. So we did have this slight overnight price action pullback, but because it's that after session overnight range, I'll just count this entire leg here. However, I think what's more important to me is the fact that we've swept this sell side liquidity. We've closed out as a low test rejection. Current candle is slightly bullish, so we may see a more significant pullback to a premium of this bearish leg here, right? This may be a complex pullback, so we've made this sort of short-term lower high here, and then we take that sell side liquidity and we may come up. So that's how I see it, because it was a discount pullback. We didn't pull back to a premium there, so it's just some overnight price action pullback, and then we've continued on our way. So I do believe there is the possibility, given this sweep here, if we do shift structure on a lower time frame, we may aim to come back to a premium here where we've got a more significant resistance to then possibly trade with trend down towards this sell side liquidity here. So my bias for this morning is just to keep my eye out for some counter trend bullish pullbacks, with awareness obviously that we may just continue going down. I don't want to chase price down. I do want to see something a bit more high quality to go with price, not just chasing some order flow. So we'll see what that looks like on a lower time frame. So saying that, let's go down to the M15. So on the M15, what I like is to go with my bias of that possible bullish pullback counter trend. Is again, we've taken that sell side liquidity, but we've created a trend line here, right, all this morning through Asia. So if we do shift in structure, this is a nice easy trend line to target, to head for these highs and back towards a premium, right? This is very corrective. There's no momentum here, right? There's no clear resistances. It's just liquidity highs trailing all the way up to this point here at least, okay? There's no momentum like these drops here. So that's a trend line to me. If we shift structure, I think that's a good thing to target. We've got the same here on DXY. We're starting to find some sort of structure here after these sweeps. And I think this would probably look better on the M5. So you can see these mini structures here. So let's go down to the M5, for example. And you can see now where that structure and order flow is showing early signs of shifting. We've got this lower low, lower high, then possible high low here, and we may break above. Okay, so what I would want to see, firstly, momentum. We have no momentum yet, so I wouldn't be trading either way, but I want price to come above, break above, say this high here, this M5 high as a break of structure, and then pull back down towards an M5 order block with imbalance, because I want to see real momentum come into the market when it breaks this high, and then we can trade up towards this trend line for buy side liquidity as a premium. So we've taken sell side liquidity on this higher time frame already, right, from previous daily lows, and then I'm going to want to see this momentum come into the market, leave behind an order block with imbalance where I can set my order to a high stop loss either just below this order block here, maybe down to this low. I'd have to make a decision at the time, but possibly here. We'll see how price action looks. I'd be aiming for 3%, break of structure around this point here, possible corrective pullback, leave an inducement around here. So it looks something like this. This is what I'll look for that counter trend. Now, of course, there's news on the horizon, right, whatever this news may be. So we'll have to keep an eye out for that. But that's at the end of the kill zone anyway. So something like that is what I would look for. We may get a sweep on one of these candles if we was to get some internal sell side liquidity sweep, maybe below this low, or if we get SMC divergence, maybe if DXY would sweep this high, it would just add to the confluences. So I think that's enough on EU. That's what I'd be looking for. So let's move on. All right, we're here back on GJ. As I mentioned yesterday, we do look to be consolidating at these highs, right? We've got this high here, created a low. So internally, this will be a bearish leg. We pulled back, made a lower high, and now it looks like we're possibly going to continue to make a lower low, but we'll see more on the lower time frame. As I mentioned, we do have higher time frame draws on price above, so price may head bullish after all this bullish price action, but we are still internal to a bearish leg here as well. So all of this is a nice trend line, but I don't want to read it all from the higher time frame. Now into today, we've taken that previous daily low. We're starting off with a lot of bearish momentum, right? We haven't pulled back from this sell side liquidity really just yet, so we'll see more on the lower time frame, but the daily is kind of consolidated around this area, so I think it's going to be more reliant to read the lower time frame. So let's go down to the 4 hour. Now again, here to repeat myself, on the 4 hour we can see that bearish leg there, swept buy side liquidity, broke down below these lows, pulled back to the premium of this into this order block here, rejected, went bearish again, didn't quite create those lower lows yet, but we pulled back bullish, rejected this 4 hour imbalance again, and continued bearish. So this internal low here is weak, so I think we should at least target that for the sell side liquidity. And then ultimately this low here is weak for now because we rejected with a lower high, so this high to this low, this becomes a weak low. Right, so we've got internal weak low here and the external weak low there as well. So I do believe we should be heading for sell side liquidity below this low, the previous weekly low, then ultimately this low. Right, so that's how I'm reading price. This lower high here, right, was significant, and our price to me is giving more of a bearish sentiment. Right, so I've got more of a bearish bias to continue at least to these lows for today. So let's go down to the 1 hour, see what that shows us. So this is the 1 hour leg I was using yesterday. As I mentioned, internally we started to create the 1 hour lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, pulled back to the premium where there was a host of resistance POIs, right? We had a 4-hour imbalance, a 1-hour imbalance. There was buy side liquidity from previous highs when that was mitigated, and then we swept some internal liquidity further, closing those imbalances and began to move bearish. Now into today again, we made another strong bearish move during that Asia session. We haven't quite taken out that low yet, but as I said, to me that would be a weak low. We're seeing some support here, like we're struggling at these lows because it is sell side liquidity, but price still seems to remain bearish, and as I said, this would be that weak low. So internally again, we broke down, we've left behind 1 hour order blocks, right? This would be this whole order block here, but I've just put it to the last candle in case we pull back into this imbalance here and come up there. So if there is any pullback from this sell side liquidity here, that would be where I'd be looking for shorts from if that were to happen. So we are in a discount now. I would prefer to short from a premium. So if there is a pullback, maybe we'll have some counter trends pullback to trade to go towards this premium, or we can wait patiently for price to come up into this area here. So I think the 1 hour also agrees bearish, but for the short term we may see some sort of bullish movement back towards this premium here for this POI to then trade short from. So let's go down to the M15. Let's see what that looks like for any trades today. So it's kind of similar as with EU. Obviously we've taken loads of sell side liquidity, massive bearish move during that Asia session, right? We came up above these highs, took buy side liquidity, broke down. We left behind a massive M15 order block, a 1 hour order block into that premium. The M15 order flow is clearly bearish. Now we're finding some support down at these lows here possibly, as we've taken that internal sell side liquidity, London sweeping that Frankfurt low as well. We don't have any bullish momentum at this moment, so it could just continue down correctively towards these lows here. But if I was to look at price, perhaps we may see something like this where we get that momentum, break above say this M15 high, and then we can pull back down to an M15 order block to trade counter trend back up towards this high here. So that would look something like this, with our order set around here. Stop loss I would put just below this low here as well, trading up towards these highs. Alright, break of structure obviously around here, with our possible inducement from a corrective pullback maybe around here somewhere. So something like that could be a counter trend movement just for this pullback for this morning or for today. Alright, so this is the first example, the first possibility I would say with what's happening with price action at the current moment. And then what I would definitely be looking for is once price, comes up, makes its way back up into this area, I'd be looking to see if this gets mitigated here, hold this 1 hour POI, and then I want to see us break down, break of structure, to then continue lower from our lower time frame POI. So hopefully an M15 order block say around here, break of structure around this point there, maybe a corrective pullback leaving an inducement here as usual, and then we'd have our order set, stop loss just above the highs to head back towards that weak low. So this is what I would look for ultimately to go with trend, right? Mitigating the POI's resistance, that resistance holding, causing a break of structure, leaving an order block with imbalance, then we pull back to it to head towards those lows. So that would be the with trend play. As I said, that's what I would look for, but for this morning and in this session we may see that counter trend breakout. So I hope that was clear, I hope that made sense. Any questions, let me know in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.